to a movie that is egregious in different ways. Ready Player One, Steven Spielberg's most recent film, his follow up to The Post. I guess not really a follow up, but first movie since The Post.
Well, he technically made Ready Player One first, and then while he was waiting for the effects to get done, he banged out The Post in like 4
right.
months.
Based off Ernest Cline's 2011 novel of the same name, starring Ty Sheridan, Olivia Cook, Ben Mendelsohn. I don't know. I guess Mark Rylance was also in a starring role in this.
Lena Waithe.
Yeah. Oh, Lena Waithe too. Yeah. Shout out her. Yeah, this movie has been getting a lot of mixed reviews from people. I've seen some people skewering it, some people saying, it's not that bad. I just want to start off by saying this movie takes place in 2045, this dystopian future where people would rather spend their time in this amazing virtual reality video game where everybody's connected and can do whatever they want, pretty much.
The Oasis.
But everybody's obsessed with 1980s culture still.
Yeah.
That was the most confusing part to me.
Yep.
Like,
culture just stopped.
Yeah.
And
like and Halliday had such a big influence that no one cared about culture after him.
Yeah. I think that's the weird. I mean, a lot of that's just ripped straight from the book too, but the book itself is something that was pretty well regarded when it first dropped. And there was a bit of a retrospect when people like, wait a minute, there's a lot of issues with this, both as just a piece of literature in terms of the writing quality, because Ernest Cline, wasn't like he wasn't really anyone. He just kind of wrote the book and made his millions. Good for him. But the literature quality, from what I've been told, for a lot of people, isn't the best. But also the storytelling, like there's a lot of issues which we'll get to because they're in the movie as well. But there's a lot of weird stuff, and one of that's just that James Halliday just is his all-encompassing presence that he just made culture stop.
Right.
And nothing after 1980 matters to anyone. And frankly, it's a weird choice for making a movie today, because a lot of these references to 80s stuff and 90s stuff is going right over all the kids' heads that are watching this movie in the theater. That's kind of a different conversation. But yeah, I mean, I think this conversations around this is really interesting, just because if you haven't seen the trailer, at least give it a watch, because it references all these like real world things like Ninja Turtles and Gundam and the Iron Giant and Halo and Chucky and Fast Time at Ridgemont High, etc. There's a lot of stuff in there, right? And
I think there's like thousands of like nostalgic references.
Right. And shout out everyone making the movie. I believe it was Amblin for licensing all this shit, right? Like that, they probably deserve an Oscar for all that work. That must have taken forever. They didn't get everything, of course. They really didn't get to use Star Wars stuff, which knowing Disney doesn't surprise anyone. But they did reference the Millennium Falcon, which I thought was a good.
You had to tie it in somehow.
Yeah, but all these references and the discussion around this movie, like you said, some people fucking hate this movie and some people find it really enjoyable, and then also like some parts of nerddom like fucking ride for this shit. And I found the movie quite enjoyable. I mean, the more you think about it, the more you can poke holes in it. But as a popcorn flick, which it's pretty unabashedly one, I think it's fun. I think that the CGI is outstanding. The movie's probably 70% CGI because the Oasis stuff is 100% computer generated, and there's no uncanny valley. I thought it was quite good. I thought the racing scene in Act 1 was awesome, and I thought overall the storytelling moves pretty well. It kind of treks through an exposition, which there needed to be a lot of, was told relatively fun way, I thought. But there's a fuck ton of issues about this story. A lot of that again comes from the book. What else stood out to you?
Yeah, well, what stood out to me was you really have two types of Steven Spielberg movies, right? You have like the heavy like stories like Schindler's List or Saving Private Ryan or even Jaws is. I mean, it's heavy just in the fact that it's this like horror film, kind of. I don't really know, thriller. But then you also have like the fun, exciting movies, and I think Spielberg, when he decides to just go fun, is really just enjoyable. And if you just sat back and watched this movie and were like, I'm just gonna take it for what it is, like you said, a popcorn flick, where you're just really going to see these references and kind of enjoy like this like light action movie that has no depth to it at all. Yeah, it's a good movie for that in that sense. It has no emotional weight. I think
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about what was worse when they were like, I'm hideous to look at. Olivia Cook's
Oh my
character
god.
Artemis is hideous to look at, and she has like a birthmark. I was like, okay, that
Yeah,
really stood out to me.
but also they make the reference that hey, you don't know Artemis could be a 300-pound man in her
Right.
in his mom's basement. No, she's a conventionally beautiful woman. You
Yep.
know, no, we had nothing to say there actually.
Exactly.
But that's the thing that I like is like this story in this book is vicariously defended by a certain sectum of
Mhm.
geekdom, right? And what does this story really tell you? It's that you can be in VR as much as you want. You can still get the girl at the end. Like
Right.
I find that fucking lame. It's fucking stupid, and I get why a lot of some geeks fucking love it because it's a fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Um, but there's other things that it does too, like with gaming culture, oh yeah, the misogyny of online gaming, that's not here,
Right.
and I mean everyone's obsessed with playing this game, but there's no fucking anonymous racism or anything because they can hide behind their fucking voice mic. Yeah, that's not here either. And
Right.
fine, you don't want to do that, okay, but like it's such an important part of the story that there's some things I just think are kind of weird, kind of lazy, right? And like in the ending, they had
Yeah.
that weird scene in Halliday's bedroom, and the whole movie we've learned that the Oasis rules everyone's lives. Society really kind of fell apart, and it's all people have. And cool escapism. You could say something about escapism here, right? No, we're just gonna shut it off 2 times a week because it's better to be outside in the real world. But like you just wrote that on the chalkboard 2 seconds before you told that to us. You didn't. That was not the direction the movie was going at all. It would have been more commendable if they were just like, yeah, you know what? Hide from the world. Like, let's go. But like you said, there's no emotional stakes. There's also just no like real stakes anyway. Because like,
Right.
oh, what's IO9 gonna do? Ben Mendelsohn's corporation. Oh, we got to fight so they don't put ads in my fucking MMO.
Right.
Like, it's not a real thing. That's not a real problem. You know?
Yeah, I mean, when the line that's supposed to be the big catcher of the movie. So this is full spoiler at this point. So if you haven't seen it and you somehow stayed through this review, just click off and come back later. But Ty Sheridan's character, Wade, just survived an explosion of his home, where his aunt and
Mm-hmm.
the only person he's had to care for him since his parents died, which was I think supposed to like set up this like tragic orphan story of a sense, but really was never touched upon. And he's confronting the person that did it, Ben Mendelsohn's character, and he goes, "You killed my mom's sister," pretty much just the way I said it. And I was like, I almost laughed in the theater because I thought it was supposed to be like kidding, like what, like how is that? Man, it's just the fact that, I mean, like this movie could have been more. And like even like Artemis, like, right, okay, so she ends up being this beautiful white woman. She just decides that Wade is the one that has to be the savior, like
Again, a totally dumb thing.
makes no sense.
She
And
was more competent the whole time. Oh,
she
but
was more well known apparently because she had this Twitch stream. It makes way more sense for her to become like
yeah.
this
But Wade,
figure.
you know more about Halliday than anyone else, which again is that weird crutch about the whole story about the '80s thing, right? But
Right.
you deserve it more.
Hmm.
That's why he deserves it more. Like it's
Right. And they
fucking
had
sus, man.
they had the pieces with Halliday's background, where he built this reality or this virtual reality because he couldn't really make connections in the real world.
Right.
And so you basically have right there that like virtual reality is a distraction from what's really important. And then at the end they're just like, yeah, so just do it 2 days a week and then the rest of the time be in this world again. Like you said, it's just they the storytelling missed the marks. I think that final battle scene though, like with everything that's going on there, you see mega metal Godzilla versus
Yeah.
Iron Giant, and what was the
The
what was
Gundam.
yeah, Gundam. Yeah, Chucky running around. Like there were parts of it that I think like you look back and you're just like that was fun. but
Right.
overall, uh, not a great movie.
Yeah.
More good.
Yeah. Well, it was weird because like in the book, apparently it's not the Iron Giant. It's Ultraman, who's a like a Japanese like big robot dude, right? But the Iron Giant, if we watch the classic Brad Bird animated film, The Iron Giant, you learn that the Iron Giant was a pacifist. And
Yeah.
if Lena Waithe is going to build an Iron Giant in the Oasis because it looks cool, you think she would have been obsessed enough to understand that he wasn't a fighter. And I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
It's a video game world. People do that all the time. Fine. But a weird choice on Spielberg's part to have the Iron Giant be a fighter, in my opinion.
Yeah. Shout
Um,
out that Shining scene though. That Shining level was
right. So
fucking
so I think that whole Shining bit, which Spielberg is an open fan
Kubrick
of
stand.
Stanley Kubrick
Yeah.
and influenced by it. In fact, he finished AI, artificial intelligence, which the work was visually started by Kubrick. That Shining thing I thought was genius and great. That scene was flat out awesome,
Yep.
and I was really happy to see that. Um, there was one line which I thought was so fucking corny. And again, the movie in general, like it requires some buy-in. Like the whole premise is dumb, and there's some corniness to it. But if you buy in, like I said, I think you can find it enjoyable. But one line that I could not let go was, "Every fanboy knows a hater." Something that has never been said before in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
People don't talk like that.
No. Especially like nerd culture. Like I don't know, man. I mean, for all of its problems, I think it's still a movie you can go enjoy if you just take it for the fact that
Yeah,
you're going for the nostalgia, you're going for some cool action scenes, and that's about it. Like that
yeah,
that racing scene, like you said, was fucking great.
yeah. From what I gathered, the book, most of the keys, like the challenges, were all changed, minus the one at the end with the adventure on Atari. They were changed to make them easier for the movie. And also, apparently, in the book, once they got the key, and then you remember he would put it into the door and open the gate.
Mhm.
There actually was a second challenge in the book once you open the gate, but they took those out obviously because in the runtime,
Yeah.
which makes sense and probably a smart idea. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of like another Spielberg movie. This is kind of like Hook.
Right.
Um, I know people our age kind of have nostalgia for Hook because of when it
Mhm.
came out, but a lot of people older than us are not fans of Hook at all. And think, I mean, Dustin Hoffman just fucking overacts the shit out of Captain Hook, right?
He made a
But then,
choice.
yeah, he made a choice. But then people our age are like, yeah, but like Rufio, dog, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I gotta say though, one thing I appreciate as well about this is Ben Mendelsohn is on a fucking run right now, dog. He ever since he won that Emmy for Bloodline, which he didn't even go to the ceremony,
Mhm.
which fucking respect. Uh, he's been in Rogue One, Ready Player One. He'll be in Robin Hood this fall as the sheriff of fucking Nottingham,
Yeah.
and he's gonna be the main villain in Captain Marvel next year.
He fucking loves it, dude. Like he just loves that role.
Yeah, getting that fucking paper, being a fucking bad dude. But he was great. Like as the slimy business executive, I thought he was perfectly cast for Ready Player One. He did a good job. He wasn't phoning it in at all.
Yeah, and that's the thing for if you're trying to be serious about this movie and say, "Oh, we'll miss all these emotional marks," or it had this problem. It also like one of like the best moments when he gets like fucking kicked in the crotch, through a video game and he feels it. Like, and
Yeah,
it's just like it's just that type of movie. Like he was good though, and
yeah.
Mendelsohn is just a class act, man. Good for him. I'm glad he's getting this work. Who's who's in the Robin Hood? Who's playing Robin Hood in that? Do you remember?
Eggsy, Taron Egerton,
Oh, shit. All right,
right?
I'm in. I'm in. All right. Well, we should probably wrap up there. We're running a little bit long on today's episode. So basically, go ahead.
See, did you like T.J. Miller as IROC? I actually thought it was kind of funny.
I thought he was funny. I also felt like T.J. Miller realized how absurd this movie was probably before anyone else did, and was like,
Sure.
"What?" Like, yeah, he was good though. Yeah,
Oh,
just
and lastly, if you were a fan of Olivia Cook, this is the first time you saw her. Go watch Thoroughbreds, which came out earlier this year. She's the co-lead in that. We did a review. Check it out. But I think she'll be around a long time, as we said before.
yeah, she's a star for sure.